Hello, I'm Andrew, and this is my Series 3 of the weekly podcasts 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. These podcasts build confidence and know-how. Consequently, they can help you achieve happiness at work. By the way, that's also the title of my book, available at Amazon and from the book's website, My Happiness at Work. Now for today's episode in Series 3. This is episode 35 in Series 3, 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. Today's episode is Heuristic Hero. Solve problems, make better choices, build your career. Help desk IT support expert Jai deals with everyday customer issues such as resetting passwords or resolving connectivity problems. Relying on user manuals or company instructions to resolve these issues could take him a long time. Instead, Jai takes a thoughtful, heuristic approach. He depends on shortcuts to produce the correct answers, and his solutions use the most recent or regular cases that he's handled. You make hundreds, maybe thousands of decisions every day. What to have for breakfast, what to wear, whether to drive or take the bus. These decisions use heuristics and are just shortcuts or rules of thumb for making judgments quickly and efficiently. They're practical tools that reduce mental effort in making decisions. They simplify complex questions and help with problem solving. Better still, they can relieve you in your daily tasks. Herbert Simon, the Nobel Prize-winning economist and cognitive psychologist, said, "We try to make rational choices," and he drew attention to our use of heuristics. But our human judgment has severe limitations. Purely rational decisions would require us to weigh the implications of every choice with their different costs and benefits. The reality, of course, is that the world isn't like that. In practice, we don't have time to assess uncertainties, and our information needs to be improved. This uncertainty has changed only partly with the emergence of OpenAI. Heuristics are not just theoretical concepts. They're your time-saving allies in a fast-paced work environment. By accelerating your decision-making, they enable you to respond swiftly to challenges. By breaking down complex problems into more manageable parts, heuristics make it easier to find practical solutions. In short, heuristics are the secret to your productivity and success at work. Awareness of common heuristics can reduce cognitive biases, leading to better judgment and adaptability and giving you the confidence to navigate uncertain situations. By incorporating heuristic principles into strategic planning or other work, you can focus on the most critical factors likely to drive success. Heuristics can consequently affect how you influence others. To sum up, a strategic use of heuristics could be a game changer in your career, enhancing your decision-making skills and propelling you towards success. Let's look at applying heuristics. There are many ways at work where heuristics can be helpful. Suppose you become involved in a recruitment decision. You might prefer candidates from well-known universities or companies. If you believe these institutions have a rigorous selection process, you might use the rule of thumb decision to assume that the candidates are likely to be of high quality. This heuristic reduces the brain demands of evaluating every detail of every candidate's background. Or in sales negotiation, you might start with an initial high-price offer. This is an anchoring heuristic and helps to ensure that the final agreed-upon price is higher than if you'd started with a lower initial offer. Also, the initial high price can signal high value to the customer, and repeated use of this heuristic can condition customers to expect higher prices. Suppose you're a project manager faced with new tools to do your project work. In that case, you may still prefer the heuristic of relying on more familiar software tools and methodologies that have proven successful in past projects. And there's a downside of heuristics. While heuristics can be beneficial, it has potential dangers. Relying on a heuristic can be too narrow, deterring you from considering wider options. For instance, while known tools and methods may produce predictable and reliable results, a heuristic can reduce the impact of the learning curve in looking at new ways of working. If you or the team start working immediately without bothering to learn useful new technologies, then relying on familiar tools may deter the adoption of innovative solutions that could improve the group's efficiency. A warning sign that there's excessive reliance on a heuristic approach is when you hear people saying things like, "We should stick to this way because we've always done it that way," or "Let's not waste time trying new ways of doing it, we need to get on and make things happen." Reliance on heuristics can also introduce biases and longer-term risks that you may need to consider to ensure a balanced and equitable outcome. Heuristics in practice. There are several types of heuristics you can consider using. There's the availability heuristic. That's when you judge the chances of something happening based on easy examples that come to mind. And then there's the representativeness heuristic, which is when you assess the chances of an event based on how similar it is to a prototype or a stereotype. The anchoring heuristic relies heavily on the use of the first piece of information, the anchor, when making decisions. For example, you might adversely judge a job candidate based simply on their handshake or visual appearance. With the recognition heuristic, you prefer known options over less familiar ones. And finally, using the affect heuristic, you're more likely to see a decision as having benefits and lower risks when in a positive mood. Warren Buffett, the renowned investor and billionaire, often relies on the availability heuristic. He sticks to what he knows best. He rejects investing in high-tech companies because he didn't understand them. He relied on choosing companies with solid foundations and a competitive advantage, and that's contributed significantly to his success. Steve Jobs, co-founder of Apple, was known for his representativeness heuristic. He believed in creating products that were simple, elegant, and user-friendly. His focus on design aesthetics and intuitive interfaces revolutionized the tech industry. Elon Musk, the entrepreneur behind Tesla and SpaceX, uses the affect heuristic. His passion for space exploration and sustainable energy drives his decision-making. His willingness to take calculated risks has propelled his company forward. These examples highlight how heuristics can influence career choices and decisions and success. And while all decisions are not suitable for a heuristic approach, understanding these mental shortcuts can help you make better choices in your professional life. So what are my final thoughts? Well, heuristics is a fancy word for a familiar process of relying on experience and simplifying choices. You already use heuristics, so you can begin using the approach to work more consciously and in situations that might be helpful. In any particular situation, stay alert to the benefits of heuristics and the downsides. You've been listening to an episode of Series 3 of my weekly podcast, 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. You can hear the other podcasts at the 50ways.site. That's 50.site. There are nearly 100 titles and you can search for any issue that interests you. If you have any questions, you can always drop me a line from there. Also, check out my book, Happiness at Work. It's packed with great stories, compelling advice, and suggestions for tackling real issues that you can encounter at work. It's at Amazon or at the book's website, myhappinessatwork.com. There's also an audio version if you prefer listening. Join me next week for another unmissable episode in Series 3. Bye for now.